Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. How is everyone this morning? Good. I was about to say, I think we're about to have a mellow morning, but I'm not so sure about that. So that's good. That's good. That's good. So welcome. We are a spiritual community that comes together every Sunday morning to acknowledge who we are as spiritual beings and acknowledge the oneness of life that expresses itself in all of its glory by means of us at all times, whether we're consciously aware of that or not. The vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. So our objective and our goal this morning is to provide a space that you can awaken yourself on your journey of finding yourself more personally self-empowered through a spiritual awakening, meaning that you know who you are as a divine being. And so we welcome you here today, whether that's in person as you're sitting in a seat, or whether we have someone watching us on live stream. We can say hello to that. We're live streaming right now, and or watching it later. We've had some congregants in today that watched it last week live stream and was surprised at what they got to see, right? Said it was quite wonderful. Said, you thought I looked like Cary Grant? Is that what you said? You didn't say that, but George said that. But hey, you're changing the tune now, George. Now he said Bela Lugosi. That's not what he said earlier. I thought you just said maybe Barbara Grant. But anyway, including George, we welcome all of you here today. And we acknowledge and welcome both Bella and Barbara and Carrie and all sizes, all colors, all ages, all cultures, all sexes, all beliefs, all religions, all sexual orientations, all types of people, all sentient beings are welcome here. Whether you're here in the four walls of our sacred spiritual home here that we share with Congregation Colony or watching us live or later. I don't know if you can feel the energy in the room, even though it's mellow right now, but there was a big Purim party here last night. It was a hippie peace party. So let's peace out, man. Yeah, right? So as our beloved Dr. David Walker used to say, we're happy that you're here today, and we welcome one and welcome all. So know that you're welcome. Our musicians today, as we know today, is the one and only Jami Lula as our guest musician. Happy to have him in the house. We have the one and only Andrew Belling, our co-music director. Our percussionist, Guy Azulay. Guys, stand up and show them what you're sporting today. The new cajon that belongs now to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We have stepped up and bought our own. I told him it's not as sparkly as what he's been sitting on, but thank God he's sparkly, right? He said, you're right, I am, when I said that earlier, so good. So as you can tell, we both like to be insightful and inspirational and laugh here at the Center for Spiritual Living. But we open our next phase of our service with a ritual. And the purpose of the ritual is for us to anchor ourselves into the oneness of life. The song and the title of the ritual is called Calling in the Light. And the purpose of that is to allow you to go within and find the light that exists within you. And I invite you to listen to the words. I mean, you probably have heard them every Sunday since it is a ritual. But open yourselves up to hear it in a new way today. Each quality, feel that in a new way today. As well as to send that healing light in the last candle out to those in the world that need it. And just a quick update on our beloved Wendy Ware. As she has had her surgery. She's in a lot of pain from the back surgery, but she's doing well. So she would appreciate us continuing to send love and healing energy her way. The ritual gives you the opportunity to sing along, so be prepared for that. Andy and Jamie will take you on that journey. And I'd like to invite to the Bema our practitioner of the day who will take us through this ritual. That's Elizabeth Dadd, and as well our illuminator of the day, which is Lenore Edney. And do you have the thing? Okay, so we're going to have just a moment, talk amongst yourselves while we get the flames of faith from Reverend Edward. You're not talking. Wherever we...
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
The ritual we perform this morning is called Calling in the Light. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one all-abiding presence which we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities we possess as complete expressions of the divine. The first candle is lit for the quality of peace. In this way, we honor our inherent divine state of inner calm, regardless of any seeming chaos unfolding around or within us. The second candle is illuminated for the quality of power, the power we acknowledge as the energy by which everything exists. We light the third candle for the quality of beauty, a personal expression by which high spiritual qualities are made manifest. We light the fourth candle for the quality of joy, that state of being that is excited by the expectancy and experience of good. We light the fifth candle for light, the symbol of divine intelligence. The sixth candle is lit for all life, that which is defined as the animating principle of being, that inner something that makes everything live. We light the seventh candle for the quality of love, defined as the self-givingness of spirit, the desire of life to express itself by giving of itself. We light the eighth candle for the quality of wisdom. The concept of unity is the mystical secret of the ages and the key to wisdom. The final candle we light is known as the healing candle. And I ask that you take a moment and think of someone you would like to silently put into the light of the healing flame, to experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine.
I am love. I am peace.
I am peace
In my heart,
in my heart.
I am free.
I am free.
I am spirit.
I am spirit.
I am soul.
I am soul.
All together,
All together
we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so I know that the light of life is shining here through each and every one of us, and that we bask in its healing energy, knowing that we are one, that we are whole, and that we are perfect spirit. I know that right here and right now, we stand together as community, as one, expressing to the very best of our ability all of the qualities of our divine nature, knowing that love and law is being expressed perfectly through each and every one of us in our own unique and dynamic way. We know that we are creators and co-creators of not only our personal lives, but that our every thought and every action has a ripple effect that creates what we intend in our world. And so we recommit ourselves this day and in every moment to fully express who we are as divine beings, that we know what we need to know when we know it, that we do what we need to do as we do it, and that all is going forth for the expansion of consciousness and for the manifestation of good. We know that this is the truth about each and every one of us here, online, those that will participate at a later time, for this city and for this world. We know that we are one in life, one in power, one in being, knowing that this is the truth now and always, and that good must manifest. I gratefully release this word to law, knowing that it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and Reverend Lenore, and Jamie, and Andrew, and Guy. You can feel the energy of spiritual mind treatment when you just tune into it, right? Can you guys do that? That was a beautiful, beautiful spiritual mind treatment, Elizabeth. I've loved listening to you give treatment and feeling the consciousness that you give treatment. I have a flashback of when we were in the Wilshire Theater. Wasn't that the big one at Los? Yes. And you on stage there, and the presence that just comes out of you as you speak truth. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yes. And I love that she spoke of oneness. That's the theme today, is oneness, and I'm going to speak on it. And I know that Jamie's about to sing in regards to oneness, and I invite you today to just really expand your awareness, or be open to expanding your awareness to what that means. It's a big idea in and of itself. You guys would agree with that? That we're all interconnected, as I'm going to speak on in a bit. But it's from a spiritual perspective in our philosophy, it is either true or it isn't true. And so I know for all of us that we choose to know that it's true and open ourselves up to a higher idea around it and a deeper meaning and a deeper experience around it at all times. So I think the great opportunity that we have before us to experience that is through the song that our soul brother Jami Lula is about to share with us, called One, One, and One, correct?
One and one.
Oh, well, that would be three, right? And, oh, okay, all right. The one and only Jami Lula.
I wrote this with the lovely and talented Gary Lynn Floyd. I actually sent him the lyric from North Carolina. I was in Asheville, North Carolina. And I just wrote this lyric and sent it to him. And I'm sorry. I'm grateful for the awareness of my oneness. Because when things happen on the planet, and I want to find ways to distance myself and create the other, that separation, when I just remember I'm one with those that I don't agree with. And where do I have judgment about myself when I'm judging another? When am I projecting that? It's so easy to do. Just listen to the news. Holy moment never pass. Here I am now at last. Rain on me, grow me strong, lead me here all life long. Wake my soul, breathe me love, guiding light, a beacon of awake and free, inside out, ray of joy, banish doubt, one and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. Look what it's done. Let me serve and sacrifice, make sacred here a paradise. Thank you, love, for guiding me. I surrender all to thee. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. Rain on me, grow me strong, lead me here all life long. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. Come on, y'all. One and one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. Oh, oh, one and one make one. Look at all that love has done. Look at what love has done. Look at what love has done. Look at what love has done. One. Look at what love has done. One. Look at what love has done. One. Look at what love has done. Look at what love has done. We are all one.
Jami Lula, Andy Belling, and Guy Azulay. Gary Lynn Floyd, you wrote that, huh? Floyd Lula. So the great music team, the two of you, and you write together. It's beautiful. And I know that Jami has CDs for sale out in the lobby should you desire to avail yourself of that. And you have I don't know what collection you have today, but Jami has a large collection of albums from over the years, CDs, and please avail yourself to those. It's great, wonderful listening where he does the best version of the song Imagine I think I've ever heard. That's my personal opinion. So check it out. And your version of Amazing Grace, and it goes on and on and on. Okay. So I'm going to open this morning with a quote from the one and only Abraham Lincoln, and it's this. And many of you may have heard it before. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. You want to hear that again, Jami Lula? Okay. Abraham Lincoln, he says... We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. Now, I love this quote because it prompts us to think about how we're viewing the world that we live in, and the mindset and how we are approaching life itself. Now, if you were here last Sunday, you heard Dr. David Alt speak about and share with us an exercise where we came to the conclusion that we were either forest people or tree people. If you didn't get a chance to experience that, you can go on our website, go to our YouTube link, and watch that. But the objective of what he was sharing with us was to ask us, are we living life right up against the wall, if you will, meaning that we're in a state of reaction and fear and doubt and feeling restricted and not in the flow of life itself? Or do we choose to live life from the perspective of being a forest people, meaning rising up above and seeing life from a broader perspective, seeing the beauty of the massiveness of the trees itself and trusting that everything that's going on in between it and down below in that forest is supporting the forest doing itself. Now, I will have to tell you that when we were at lunch last Sunday, I asked him, did it matter whether you were a fairy or a gnome in the forest? And he did not want to acknowledge that. But I came to the conclusion it's okay to be a fairy and a gnome in the forest if you choose to be a forest person. The takeaway from the message that David shared with us last week is for us to assess from what perspective from which we're not only viewing life itself, but how that viewpoint impacts our mindset or our consciousness and ultimately affecting the life experience that we're having or the experience of life itself. In the message last week, he encouraged us to move into our daily activities being conscious to not live in an us and them life, but to realize at a very, very deep level, there is only us. Now, I know that we're living in a world today where many would say are troubling times. And I was thinking about that term just recently in preparation for this message today. And I would like for us to not say that. Because as we believe that there could be troubling times, then our consciousness responds to it from a perspective of it being troubling. However, it doesn't mean that there ain't stuff going on. As Dr. Walker used to say, all God's children got stuff. I love it when he used to say that, but what he's telling us there and what is true for us as we're living life today is that as we process the journey of our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, seeking to live our life from our divinity more often than from our humanity, that when we fall into that which is our humanity, stuff shows up that seems to be contradictory to our divinity. But what's important for us to look at right now is that no matter where we are moving or experiencing or processing or engaging in life itself, there truly is only one thing taking place, and that we are all interconnected by the force of life and consciousness of life itself, whether we like it or not. In our teaching, this is either true or it isn't. One of the things I love about this philosophy and this teaching is that there is no room for gray, except in our beards and our hair and all of that if we choose not to color it out. But in the experience of life and the way that the law of life works is that there's no gray. It's very black and white. The law either works or it doesn't. There's either oneness or there isn't. Got it? That's the way it is. However, sometimes it's really, really difficult for us to live from that perspective. Today, it's my goal and my objective to remind us that that is our calling in life. If we truly are living on the pathway of choosing to find personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, seeking to evolve into a state of bliss or enlightenment, then our journey in life must be one where we're conscious of letting go of that which isn't serving us, of letting go of that which seems to be contradictory to the spiritual truth that exists within us. In the practical mysticism class that I'm facilitating and teaching, we're learning that should we desire to evolve up the scale of consciousness to that state of enlightenment or bliss, as I said, the key to it all is to develop a mindset to awaken our senses and to live in a practice of oneness. Now, one would think that our goal is to live in oneness, right? That's our goal. But that is the goal. It's not necessarily always how it shows up in our human expression. So I think it's easier for us to say, well, what is the goal and the objective? It's to live in a practice of oneness, right? We all know that. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? And if you're very fortunate, on a private jet. But it's practice, practice, practice. It's not the bewitched method where you close your arms and you get there. You have to do the work. And that's the same through spiritual enlightenment or finding the bliss if that's what our goal in life is. And I do believe that for every single one of us here, whether we're in the chairs here or watching online or just visiting from afar, that our goal is to journey up that map of consciousness, as per David Hawkins says, to seek a life that's more in alignment with the bliss of our nature. If we truly believe, as we say every Sunday morning, that the qualities within us are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, and if we're seeking to live our oneness in life, then it's to incorporate these qualities of life in our practice of life itself. So what does that mean? Well, it means that it's important for us to expand our individual fields of consciousness to incorporate the oneness that exists. To know that it's not our responsibility to attempt to create oneness, for it's already there. But it is our responsibility to engage in that which is spiritually true and do our part from a practical perspective. The class we're taking is called Practical Mysticism. From a practical perspective, to experience that oneness. Well, how do we experience oneness? The only way that we can, by expressing it. We only get to experience life to the degree, old school metaphysics, that we become conscious of it. A modern day term of that is the only way that we get to experience the blissfulness, the enlightenment of life, is to express it. It's by giving and reflecting the nature of the universe that it must return back to us because that is its nature. Deepak Chopra tells us this, that every single thing in life is an aspect of one field of consciousness. Now, I don't know about you, but from my perspective, Deepak, that's a big statement. Would you guys agree with that? That's a big statement. That if everything is an aspect of what we're calling oneness, or one and one and one is one, what he's calling is it's an aspect of one field of consciousness. That everything that we're experiencing right now is a reflection, it's an outpicturing, it's an expression of one field of consciousness. Now that's a lot to take in simply in these four walls, would you not agree? To think that just in these four walls, we hear Angel back there mumbling and talking and carrying on, right? We hear people tuning into that. Some of you are really attentive to what I'm saying right now. Some of you are thinking, oh my God, he's talking about oneness again. Some are on their phones in the back, like Jesus is, you know. All of that is going on, and it's all within that field of oneness. And yet, that field of oneness is not contained in these walls. There's even people in the back that's cutting cake for you to eat later. right? That's part of the oneness too. There's a homeless guy out on the street that we all know. Cool dude, right? That's part of the oneness too. There's people driving up and down the streets that's taking place. All part of that field of oneness. There are birds that are singing out there and birds wanting to sing out there. All the fields of oneness. There are people in airplanes that are flying over our heads. All fields of oneness. There's subway lines that are taking place underground, several streets over. All that field of oneness that Deepak is talking about. Now that's expanding your thinking to think, all right, what does this oneness mean? And how does that impact my life? Well, it only impacts my life if I see that as a really, really good thing. If I see that as something that I can choose to use to my benefit, not to have more in life, but as my benefit in life to express more of that which is, to understand and appreciate this wholeness that exists as the oneness in life from a unified field perspective that lets me allow myself to let go of any need to try to make something happen that's not mine to do. Chopra also says that the whole itself, this unified field of consciousness, never loses contact with its parts. They're never lost or forgotten. So even if they get in the airplane, or they go underground, or they might be mentally unstable, or if they have a different political viewpoint than you, or if sometimes fill in the blank, they do something you don't like, the wholeness of life itself, the oneness, is never lost or forgotten or is never disconnected from its parts. Now, modern quantum physics talks about this unified field, which underlines and connects everything in creation. Who we are is pure consciousness expressing itself in different forms at different times in our evolution. Now, I'm sure many of you, much like me, and one of that attracted me to this teaching, this philosophy, was hearing that there was only one thing going on, right? You guys like that? Getting away from some teaching where it was like, okay, there's a good guy in the sky and a bad guy in hell, and depending on what you do in life, you get to experience one or the other. And there's a part of you that's like, I think I want to go to the hell part today. That's real, or maybe tonight for sure I want to go there, right? And like, then the next morning it's like, oh, Lord save me, I was so bad last night, right? And you're thinking, please save me, please save me, please save me. And you hear the voice saying, not today, Shirley, right? But that's weird hocus pocus stuff. That's weird. That's the word I would use if I could, but it's not what we teach here. It's not logical and it doesn't make sense. What we're taught here is that there's only one thing ever taking place, and that is the activity of God. Now, I'm sure you, much like me, reveled in this truth being taught, that there's only one activity, and yet I really didn't understand that spiritual truth to the degree that I do now for a long period of time. It sounded good. Conceptually, it made sense, but there always seemed to be somewhere in life there was a loophole in regarding to that. But as we evolve into someone that's more awakened in life, we realize there are no loopholes. It is either true or it isn't. And in addition to that not only is there only one thing taking place, it is all consciousness. And we are one with that consciousness, and we get to experience our life to the greatness of life, to the degree that we are willing to embody the greatness of this consciousness, which there is only one thing. And that we get to take it even deeper and deeper to understand that this power, this oneness, this consciousness, or no matter what you call it, because it exists no matter what you call it, and yet you get to experience more of it the more that you call it, exists equally among all of life. That it in and of itself isn't personal, and it can't decide or determine whether or not you get the good in your life that is yours. And of course, in what we hear more and more and more is it's all God and God is all there is. Now for a moment, take that in. Letting go of anything you've known before and just hear that statement. It's all God, or whatever word you want to use. And God is all there is. Now that's a big frickin' idea. When you agree, that's a big idea. And yet, for us to find this awakening that we're seeking, for us to find this enlightenment that we're desiring, for us to live in bliss, that must be the cornerstone from how we approach every single thing in life. Every single thing in life. And to know that should we be desiring on a personal experiential level to live from that place, to know that the only thing that matters in life are we engaged in developing and revealing a consciousness of oneness. A consciousness of oneness. A consciousness of oneness. And then to ask ourselves what I've broken down as these 4 things. The first is, am I willing to live and practice in oneness? If we're not willing to do it, none of it matters. And that's not a one-time question. It's an ongoing question. As my teacher Fred Wilson used to say, the purpose of life is to live in the question so that you can hear your answers. It's through your answers that you know what's going on in your life so that you can then ask the next question. So the first question is, am I willing to live in and practice oneness? The next question is, do I believe that we are all interconnected? Because that's critical to live from a place of oneness, to know that we are all interconnected, and that interconnectedness is beyond what the eyes can see, the ears can see, but it's not beyond what the heart can feel. And the next question is, can I see and honor the divine in all expressions of life, even when they disagree with me or when I disagree with them? That's a hard one. Would you agree? That's a hard one. Why? As we're learning in practical mysticism. Because our ego gets in the way. And sometimes our egos are really shiny and strong, right? And sometimes they're really dark, right? And that can all happen in 15 minutes. But it's about becoming aware of when that ego shows up. And go, yeah, that's what's taking place right now. My ego is in front of me right now. And it's a little bit sparkly and it's a lot dark at the same time. And I need to check it. In other words, I need to step away from it and go, what is my objective here in life? Do I need to have a little ego temper tantrum? Well, maybe. Well, okay, you get 12 minutes. And then get over it, as David used to say. Get over it, Blanche. Get over it and then focus back into that place of, well, am I willing to live and practice in oneness? Is that my covenant and commitment to the way I choose to live my life? And do I believe that we're all interconnected? Can I honor the divine in all expressions of life? Well, am I doing any of that right now? If the answer is no, pull it back in and do so. And then the next question is, what am I going to do differently today or right now to be more in oneness than I was earlier? Oneness itself is a practice. It's a practice. And it's important for us to know that ours, this teaching of metaphysics, is a mystical teaching. For our basic belief is the fundamental oneness of all life exists. As I said before, that God is the only life there is, and that's the allness, the isness, the eternal, the changeless beingness that is the essence of all creation and the very substance of all form. As Ernest Holmes, the great teacher and founder of this philosophy known as the science of mind, said in a moment of mystical wonderment, one. Nothing less and nothing more. The Bhagavad Gita addresses it this way. If you can see God, the oneness in everyone, you can never do harm to anyone, including yourself. Wherever you go, whatever you experience through your senses, keep reminding yourself that it is all part of the same oneness. Begin to recognize the world as a reflection of yourself. As a reflection of yourself. I know people in this teaching that when they see stuff on the news or they have a bad experience in their life, and they've done a lot of work to evolve into a great place and a great consciousness, their first question is, what in me resonates with that I am experiencing? What in my consciousness has drawn this into my field of experience? Now, the key to that spiritual exercise isn't to then beat yourself up. It's not for self-flagellation to go, bad consciousness, bad consciousness, bad consciousness, bad consciousness, bad consciousness. It's not. It's to say, oh, wow, this is what's going on. Or it could be, I have no freaking idea what's going on. However, I do know what I need to do to move beyond this and to express love. and that is to see that which is in front of me as the oneness of God, to honor its individuality as it's expressing itself as God. It doesn't mean you need to have a cocktail and dinner with it. It just means to know that. It just means to know that. And to sometimes go, as much as I see the divine in you and I love all of you, here's how I'm going to honor that. I'm going to step the hell away from you. That's what I'm going to do. Because that's taking care of my soul. That's not being mean or crazy or psychotic. It's owning your power and stepping away. That's the key to knowing that you are an individualized expression of the wholeness of the consciousness of the mind of God, and within that is the wisdom to listen to your intuition, and listening to your intuition only matters if you then act on what you hear. It's important for us to know that once again we are one, as Jami was talking about. In this class that we're taking on mysticism, it all comes down to that all of us are on a journey of our mystical awakening. Otherwise, we wouldn't be drawn into this teaching. We would go to a Catholic church or a Baptist church, not making those wrong, but we'd go to one of those places where they would tell you what to think, right? And they'd tell you how to find it, and they'd tell you what's going to happen to you if you don't, right? But we don't do that. That's not how we look at life here. The way that we look at life here is like, what is the objective? The objective is for me to have a better life today than I did yesterday. It's for me to honor within you the wholeness of life that exists and know for you that I want you to have a better life today than you had yesterday. To know that deep within us there is this power that we call God, and then we all get to experience and express it to the degree that we become conscious of it. And if you're not experiencing your wholeness, then I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to bless you and know that you're on your journey of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, just as I am. That we're all on the same journey, we're just experiencing it at different levels. That's really what we're learning in this practical mysticism class, of breaking it down and deconstructing what we've known in metaphysics from a 20th century perspective and looking at it from a higher viewpoint. So, well, what's the objective? Well, the objective is that we all spiral up this map of consciousness to a higher vibrational frequency. And not just because we want to experience that vibrational frequency on an individual level, but that in so doing, the laws of life then bring back into our field of experience that which is a reflection of it. And so then what comes with that is more peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. But that cannot happen if we go through life seeing them and us. That can't go through life if we see a power for good and a power for bad. That can't go through life if we're like that way and accomplish that if we're seeing ourselves as a victim. We also can't go through life seeing ourselves as a victor, because it's not about winning or losing. It's simply just about living life awakened to the best of your ability. And if you don't meet the criteria of that which you've placed upon yourself as the best of your ability, to stop, forgive yourself, take a deep breath, look in the mirror, namaste your butt away, and start again. That's the goal. But this practice isn't for the weak. The Conference of the Birds, which was a writing, and it is written this: consider carefully before you start this journey, for it asks of you a lion's heart. What we're being told here is that this particular philosophy and teaching that we've all been drawn to is not for the weak, in the context that it's up to you, that you get to decide the life you desire to live, and will it come to fruition or not. I love this poem by Rumi that I will close with this morning. And for any of you that, is there anybody in the room who loves Rumi? We just went through a whole course of it in class. That's amazing. If you would like to get the PDF version of the Rumi quotes that I put together, let me know and I'll be happy to send them to you. It's a little booklet that's quite wonderful. But Rumi speaks to this relationship that I'm talking about today with ourselves in regards to oneness in this way. And it's this: come. Let us choose one another as companions. Let us sit at one another's feet. Come a little closer now, so that we may see each other's faces. Inside we share so many secrets. Do not believe we are simply what those eyes can see. Now we are music together, sharing one cup and an armful of roses. Seek pearls from an oyster, skills from a craftsman, and if you find someone ripe in wisdom, don't go away empty-handed. Mastering a craft calls for practice. Spiritual quickening needs intimate companionship with a true teacher. This deep in the heart, every mystery of spirit is hidden. Only from soul can the soul draw its secrets, not from any page or eloquent speech, for the heart of the matter is soul, nothing else, nothing you can have ever, ever do. Come. Thank you.
Love is my choice. Love is my decision. I wish you peace. I wish you joy. I wish you love, 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 love. I wish you faith in yourself to reveal all that you've come here to be. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. I wish you strength. I wish you courage. Wish you love, 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 love. I wish you purpose to create all your dreams and co-conspire with the light of your life. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Oh, 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 oh. Your answers to eternity are always deep inside you. That freedom of expression is yours to choose right now. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Oh, love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Oh, love is my religion. Love is. Love is my religion. my religion. Love is, oh, love is my religion. Love is, love is, love is, love is, love.
Jami Lula. Jami Lula with Andy Belling and Guy Azulay. Thank you. I've heard you do that song so many times, and I love it, love it, love it, love it, and love it. Yes. So if there's ever any doubt about us being a safe community, it's so true that we are, because as Jamie was singing, I think a good sign of being a safe community is when a mother and a father passes their child around to the people in the audience, and that's what's taking place in the back. So just wanted you to know that, right? It's kind of like a commune. I like that. Does that mean I'm free from making baked goods next week? No. No. Elizabeth goes, no, it's still yours to do. Okay. I love it. Okay. Well, as a spiritual community, now is the opportunity for us to give of our financial good to support this community as it thrives in not only the city of West Hollywood, Los Angeles, and beyond. And so if we can have our ushers come forward and have those of you that are in the house know that this is your opportunity to give financially of your goods, showing your commitment to being in the flow of the abundance of the universe. And so your options to do that are through cash or check in the baskets or the lovely little bags, the velvet bags that we have being handed out by our ushers. Or you can go online and do it on our website, which is csl-la.org. Click on home and donate there, or on our app, which is on a mobile device, which is CSL-LA, and just click on the tab there and donate will come up. And just want to remind you that there was a request that we set it up so that you can do monthly donations. That is through that charge card set up through our website and or our app. It goes through PayPal, and at the bottom it'll give you an option to click on it if you'd like to make it a monthly donation. Any questions on that, please feel free to see me later, or you can see Reverend Edward or whoever's at the welcome table. We have a credit card machine you can swipe there as well. So please take your conscious giving, that's what we call it here, and place it close to your heart. The reason we do that is because the heart is a symbol of love, and as we give of our love and blessings to our spiritual community, we touch our heart for that to happen. Let's just close our eyes for a moment. As we hold that which we give close to our heart, we see the interconnectedness of everything in life. We know that this which we give is flowing out into the universe, making a difference. And so please repeat after me. Conscious giving heals.
Conscious giving heals.
It awakens and enlivens my awareness.
It awakens and enlivens my awareness.
I am one with an abundant universe.
I am one with an abundant universe.
So today,
I
give with love.
give with love.
And I know that I know
that I know
that it must and absolutely does return to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn Turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come round right.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Guy. So do you like it, the new one?
Great.
Good. Well, we like having you here, all right? And of course, we love having you here, Andy Balling. Yes. I was watching some show on television this week, and it was, I don't know, we'll let it go, but it showed Dinah Shore come popping out to ask some questions. Oh, I know what it was. It was the special on Netflix on Gloria Allred. Weird segue, I know that was. But of course, Andy Belling was, I'm sure, in the background playing music for Dinah Shore in that moment. So, because he was there for many years, yes. Jami Lula, thank you.
Hey, Jamie.
Please purchase his music in the back, and that would be fantastic. So, some announcements. So, at the welcome table, you will see some cards regarding a retreat called the Big Sky Resort Retreat, Joy Expressing Itself, September 1 through the 6th, 2018. Some great speakers that will be there and musicians. I've never been to this particular retreat. Have you, Jamie? He has not. Have you, Lenore?
I know people, and
No.
just remark.
Yeah, it's a small, intimate retreat. People I know that have gone there love it, but I haven't been. So, but go have fun. There's a weekly email that goes out. If you are not receiving it, please sign up. There's a form that you can set the welcome table. Please do that legibly. Some of you may be getting more than one emails right now. I think as I shared with you, we merged every database, and won't tell you how many there was, but every database that was here into one. And so if you're getting more than you would like, meaning if to more than one email address, feel free to respond to us. We'll be happy to take you off, or you can go in and hit unsubscribe. The goal was to get it dumped into one place and then clean it up, and so that's what we're doing. So the March 11th, which is 2 Sundays from now, after the service, there's a meeting of the outreach group, and I'm assuming it'll be in here in this room. So please see Lenore, Reverend Lenore, if you have any questions on that. It's time to start doing some outreach again. So other announcements. So what's taking place this week is the Wednesday morning guided meditation. Feel free to join us for that between 8 and 8:30. It's a great way to center yourself in the middle of the week on a humpity hump day and hear and participate in a great meditation. It's 30 minutes. It's really cool, and it's usually quite spontaneous and good. For those that are on it, thumbs up? Yeah. Thumbs up. There you go. All right, so that's all the validation you need. Yes, Dr. Neal?
Sunday the 11th is the beginning of daylight saving time. Yay!
Yay! So that means come early, right?
That's right.
Right. Save your daylight. All right, so continuing. So Wednesday's class, we are now in the 8th class. If you have any interest whatsoever in learning about the mystical nature of you, come take that class. It's great. Friday, continuing with the dance class called The Spirit of Dance. And that's at 11:30 at the Hollywood Dance Center on La Brea. And last Friday, we learned the movements to a chorus line. You want to see it? No, I'm just kidding. Which was fun. I don't get paid for that part. All right, so so on also March the 11th, daylight saving time. This also the same day that we'll have our outreach meeting. We have a guest speaker here. Dr. Jim Lockard will be here. If you've never heard him, come check it out. He is, for those of you that have said, I'm cerebral, cool dude, really great. And so he'll be here. A big thank you, as I've already given to our musicians this morning. A big thank you to Bob and Jesus for setup this morning. Thank you. A great thank you to Reverend Edward in the back for the work he did, for Elizabeth for your great pre-service treatment. Reverend Lenore, you illuminated those candles unlike anybody else. Good work. Just to let you know that there is definitely flower products awaiting you out back, along with coffee and tea. So feel free to avail yourself of that. And we're having a board meeting tomorrow night, just to let you know that, around 6:30. So just hold us in consciousness while that's happening. Nothing bad's going on. It's all good stuff, actually, quite really good stuff. Just sharing that with you so that you have that information. I think that's it. Anything else? Oh, that's right. Tell me, stand, please. And
Some of you know Connie Sawyer, the Azulay actress in history, 105. She passed away a couple of weeks ago, and there's a large memorial today at the Motion Picture Company on the 2 o'clock. So it's on the campus. So I just thought you'd like to know.
well, let's take a moment and acknowledge someone that lived to 105. Let's go there for a second, right? Connie, she was a member here for many years. And so let's just, Connie Sawyer was her name? So let's just hold Connie in a moment of celebration, right? And let's close this celebration service with spiritual mind treatment. So let's take a moment, and as we start this spiritual mind treatment, we bring into the field of awareness the oneness of life. And the torchbearer of that oneness in this moment is Connie Sawyer. We know for her that in all of her brilliance and creativity and beauty, the essence of that which is Connie Sawyer is moving to the next dimension of her expression of life. This exemplifies what we know as the spiritual truth of there is only one activity taking place. And so, inasmuch as we know that at the human level there is that which is called death, all that is the disintegration of cellular activity. But what's really taking place is life itself continuing to express itself as life. And so today, for each of us and us collectively, we take a moment and cherish this life that exists by means of each one of us. We honor this power and this presence that is not only in ourselves, but in all of life itself. It's the oneness of life. And today's the day that we make a covenant and a commitment to ourselves to practice living from oneness. To choose, to see, to feel, to experience the oneness of life to the best of our ability as we navigate our humanity. Knowing that sometimes that can appear to be challenging. But all that's unfolding is that we're bumping up against that which feels as discomfort, but yet it's that which is calling us into a greater expression. And so we are the goodness of life that is being made manifest. We are the abundance of life that is being expressed. We are the peace and the power and the beauty and the joy and the light and the life and the love and the wisdom. And we move about doing our business of life with grace and with ease and with kindness, with compassion and with understanding and with reverence and with respect. We surrender to the greatness of life that exists within us and trust and know that our intuition expresses through us in a way that guides us into a fuller, more beautiful, more abundant expression of who we are. Now is the moment that we commit to living from a new viewpoint, one that is based in spiritual truth, that God is all there is, for all there is God. And we let it be by saying together, amen. And so it is. Thank you. Have a great day. Avail yourself to the closing music, and I'll see you out back. Thank you.